Hello everyone, and I'm here in Princeton, New Jersey at the Princeton Cemetery. Relatively small cemetery here, but it's got some real rich history here. I'm here at the burial site of both the 22nd and 24th president, Grover Cleveland. Yes, he was two separate numbers because as of now, he's the only president to serve two non-consecutive terms, 1885 to 1889 and 1893 to 1897. He's the only president to serve two non-consecutive terms. Well, Trump actually just recently repeated history as going to be the second president to serve two non-consecutive terms. But Cleveland was born in 1837, and he died in 1908, as you can see here. He was from New Jersey. He was a very qualified politician. He was mayor of Buffalo and governor of New York before he was president. He was very strong in appealing to both sides of issues. He was a Democratic president in a time in which there were not too many Democrats in the executive branch. Between the end of the Civil War in 1865 through the Great Depression in 1929, there were only two Democratic administrations, Grover Cleveland and Woodrow Wilson. Grover Cleveland was the first of which. He appealed to a lot of conservative and liberal ideologies within the United States. He was big on the American dream. Didn't want to provide much federal aid to businesses. He was very pro-business, and he, unlike a lot of his Republican predecessors, he advocated for low tariffs because he believed that there was a government surplus from income coming in from foreign nations. So he wanted to get rid of a lot of government corruption, pushing for civil service reform, things like that within his administration. He also holds the record still to this day for vetoing more bills than any president in one single term. Within his first term alone, he vetoed 414 bills. One of the most infamous ones being the Texas seed bill. There was a big drought going on in Texas in the 1880s, and a lot of farmers were in need of financial help. And the federal government offered to give $100,000 in repair, which is about $3 million today. Cleveland vetoed that bill because he's like, well, the federal government should stay out of the economy and all needs possible. So that didn't happen. And there was another one, there was a scandalous pension on Civil War veterans he also vetoed. Those were his two most famous vetoes. But during his second term, there was a big economic crisis. The Panic of 1893 took place. Now him, along with the Secretary of the Treasury, were big proprietors of the gold standard because he believed that the silver was being deflated at that time was one of the causes of the Panic of 1893. So he's a big advocate on the gold standard. He also opted for the restoration of the Hawaiian monarchy. Previously, during the term of Grant in the 1870s, Hawaii had become a protectorate of the United States. Well, he wanted to get rid of all imperialist ideologies within the United States and was really big on domesticating issues and just worried about people living the American dream with their own business, not interfering too much with the foreign nations and things like that. So obviously after he left office, a lot of that was crushed because a lot of people liked him. He conserved a lot of American ideals and didn't push for too many radical reforms. And that's the reason people liked him a lot. So this is Grover Cleveland. And like I said, he's the only president to serve two non-consecutive terms. He won the popular vote in all the elections, though. He ran 3 times. He lost to Benjamin Harrison in 1888. Despite him winning the popular vote, Benjamin Harrison won the Electoral College. So Grover Cleveland did come back, served until 1897. So then he left office, died about 11 years later. So since Cleveland was president twice, we're going to scream his name for smash twice because that's just what you do. Grover Cleveland for smash! Grover Cleveland for smash! There we go. Another thing I'd like to point out here. His wife's right here, Frances Folsom Cleveland. Daughter of Cleveland, daughter of Oscar Folsom. She was about 27 years younger than Cleveland. When Cleveland first got in office, he was a bachelor, and he's the first president. There have only ever been 2 bachelor presidents, not unmarried presidents. The only other one was James Buchanan, and he never got married at all. Cleveland actually married in the White House, as he was president, to this woman here, 27 years younger than him. Their daughter is Ruth Cleveland, and actually happens to be the namesake for Baby Ruth. So if you didn't know that, that's pretty interesting. A lot of people think it was Babe Ruth, and that's a common myth, but the candy bar company, she was pretty famous. And the candy bar company later on, she died in 1904. The candy bar company made this in the 30s, the 1930s, naming it after supposedly Baby Ruth, which was Cleveland's 12-year-old daughter. She died of dysphoria, which is a disease where gray matter builds up in your nose and it's hard to breathe. It's easily cured today. She died at the age of 12, born in 1891, died in 1904. So she was actually born in between Cleveland's two terms. And then now they named the Baby Ruth candy bar after her. So we're gonna eat a Baby Ruth bar right in front of her grave here. Let's go. Cleveland's wife, so much younger than him. She actually was alive at the end of World War II. She lived really long. 1947 is when she died. That's nuts. Nuts, get it? I just thought I mentioned this cameraman just brought this up. I have a great-great-grandfather whose name is Grover Cleveland Shouse. He was born in 1895 during his second term. So it was a really common thing to do at the time. Families would name their sons after the president. So you'd have like Grover Cleveland Shouse or like, I don't know, Ulysses Grant Johnson or something. Like people would name their kids after the president. So I actually have a great-great-grandfather who's named after Grover Cleveland because he was just born during his term. It's kind of interesting. All right, guys, that's a little video on Grover Cleveland there. Hope you guys enjoyed that. So with that, be sure to comment, like, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time. Let me know what you think about Grover Cleveland. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Wah!